Hello, hello, hello. We are live with GM Ryan, the founder of DC3.Wiki. And Overdrive is here, coincidentally, as well. Welcome, Ryan, to the stream. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I know we've kind of chatted on the side before, but it's great to be able to speak to you in person.
Oh man, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped that you're here. I know that this has been a while in the making. Yeah, thanks guys for being here. Yeah, so I just wanted to start out. Tell me about a bit about yourself, man. What got you in to thinking about making a wiki for us, and tell us anything a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Sure. I normally don't like to talk about myself a lot, but I guess
It's
just
like a
to give
job
back.
interview, right? It's like a job interview. Like, oh yeah, you're not applying for a position. You're already
Right.
hired.
It's
You've got the top spot already. We love to see you, man. You're looking
it's
great. Hey, I love the T-shirt as well, man. Just seeing it.
of
Is
course,
that
yeah. I got to rep the cowl.
repping the cow? Yeah. Absolutely awesome. Hello, everybody. You guys have just joined. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, tell me something like what
Sure, sure.
maybe
Like,
let's start from like your journey into the platform. Maybe let's do that.
that's perfect. So I would say it definitely started with the fandoms, right? I mean,
Mm,
it was a big event, that DC event. I believe it was the same one when they announced the Snyder Cut was going to be released on Max. Well, no, it was DC Universe back then, right? So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that was really exciting. That was a really exciting event. So I was like, hey, free NFT, sure, I'll make an account, sign up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which obviously led to the back cowls, announcement. I was like, okay, pretty steep price point, but I read the descriptions. Okay, I'm a DC fan for life. This is all not staged. This is how my office actually looks. So
Oh no
obviously,
way!
I'm obviously a big DC fan. So I figured, hey, why not? I'll get involved. So we'll see where this leads. And of course that led to Superman One. Obviously, the big kickoff for DC threes. And from Superman 1 to Black Adam, which was a second release, I was in the Discord and people just had a lot of questions like, how do I know how many comics are sold, what has been pulled or not? And I was like, okay, well, this seems like a pretty simple thing to want to present. So where does this data live? This is obviously on the blockchain. Things should be public. And, I have a tech background. So let's just play around and see what I can find. And it started with me writing scripts locally on my computer and posting screenshots to the Discord. I'm sure those are all still historically archived there. Anyone can go back and look at those from messages from my account. And then I was like, okay, well, this is great, but hey, I have things to do. I can't really sit here and post screenshots every single day. How can I automate this and make this accessible to other people? Low tech version might have been like an Excel sheet or something, but I wanted to scratch my tech itch, so let me just host a website for this, right? Make it publicly available, and that's kind of how it started, essentially.
Awesome. Well, look, you're very popular. There's 29 people on the stream. So welcome everybody. And yeah, I mean, people love to see put a name to the face as well. Face to the name. Ugh. Um, and the thing is as well, your first appearance is on the like within hours of Overdrive. So I am scrambling, the public is scrambling. We're struggling to make sense of it. And But it's great to hear your kind of DC3 or what do you call it, candy.com/DC journey, right? I think what you do for the community is amazing. Like actually pulling it together. Would you say like just being on that trend of thought, like when you started off, and we're spitballing here, but I do have a question for you. So the first one is when you heard about where did you hear about the fandom discs, and what got you interested in that? Like let's reel it back a little bit.
I think it was an official announcement during that DC event, and I'm forgetting what the name it was. They were announcing a bunch of different DC related things, and for me, it was like, okay, free DC stuff. I don't care where it is. I mean, I was never really a part of any Web3 communities or projects prior to that, so that was definitely my kind of awakening to that space, really.
And do you have a jobs? Well, you're quite technical, so it must be like, so we say you didn't have a Web3 stuff. You must be doing something similar in the tech industry, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, in general, I work with just like infrastructure and deployments of software. And Web3 is as a concept, it's new, but it's really just like a really big distributed public database. Like I get the concept pretty easily,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so that's why playing around with that was also another kind of motive for me to create the wiki in the first place.
Yeah, funnily enough as well, like I actually am a software consultant as well. So I actually know how, I would say, like, the regular infrastructure and the regular stuff works, like, but
Sure.
web 3 though, what fascinates you about web 3, like, and what we're in right now, you think?
Well, the big buzzword is decentralization, right? I mean, instead of us buying a digital comic somewhere where DC has some sort of backend that says this person owns this, it is all publicly available with the potential for self custody, where I own this little piece of data out there, and regardless of whatever happens in the future, it's going to be there in some form or fashion. And we can talk about how metadata may or may not live and covers and things like that, but it is just the fact that public, well-known, established companies like Warner and DC, right, get into and want to explore this new space. It's just really exciting for me, and so I wanted to be a part of it because it does combine my two favorite things, right, tech and DC. So
Hmm. Awesome. Okay, I think, should we kick it off with uh just talking about overdrive quickly, just because somehow it's wedged itself in the middle of everyone's minds, right? So let's just do a little, I mean, to be quite honest with you, it's very, very new. So what we should do really is, let me just share my screen, and let's read the article together. Well, I mean, from what I understand is that we're gonna have a drop, and then the drop is gonna be, um we need the core, and then for the overdrive cell, it's going to be one per cow, right? And then we're going to need that cow for the beta experience, and then one of these fandom discs finally, right, to craft an exclusive legendary for the back cows, to begin with. um what are your thoughts around this?
well, that's a loaded question. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool concept, right? I mean, not only is it an exclusive cover for the cow holders, it's a guaranteed legendary, and it uses the discs. I mean, in some form or fashion, I think we knew it was going to be involved like that. So, I mean,
Oh my
until we
god,
get
is that like a Jim Lee one? It looks like it. Is it?
that's a
Wait.
Jim Lee cover. Yeah,
Oh my god.
I was
Yes.
hoping it would have had a signature on it, but it doesn't say that anymore. So, unfortunately,
Is there's time? There's time to add a signature, guys. Do it.
come on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think my feelings are mixed because we don't know details on supply for any of this stuff. I mean, we know how many fandom discs theoretically exist, but we have no idea what the Justice League drop is gonna be like. I think are there other covers in the initial purchase or just the cores? Um, I might be a bit biased because I personally really love that issue of Justice League. When I
Oh yeah.
started comic collecting, I started with the New 52 for a brief period. So that was like the first comic I started making my local trips to my comic store for. So if it was any other comic that I didn't care about, maybe my feelings would be a bit different. But I'm excited to see the exact details.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in here. Yeah. So anyone correct me if this is wrong, but this is from what I understand. I have yet to. Okay, I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. So it's an exclusive legendary you get only with the overdrive cell, which you can get one per cal. And you know what? The cell, what I hear, I haven't read the Medium article. Well, I've skimmed through it. From what I can understand, is it's one per cal, and it's not tradable. So I got a ton of these. I'm gonna have a ton of these. And then I joked, right? I was like, does it have a? edition number, but then you can't even sell it. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Hey, man. This is me, man. I'm just voicing out what people are thinking. Like, but okay. So an exclusive overdrive sale, but you see, they need to also say like, is the overdrive sale gonna be only for this event, or is that gonna be like, are we gonna get repeated drops of the cell? I would imagine so. It's like a battery cell, right? Like you go into the cave and you load up your cowl and like the cell is a cell, right? Like you could
Yeah.
load it up, but it might look different for each iteration. Um, I will I will voice out some of the initial opinions
Yeah. Let's do it.
from, from X. You know, initially make cows matter again. Batman is waiting. Now I'd imagine that's after Overdrive's been dropped. What else? There's others. Um, Here you go. Um, an uncommon legendary via Overdrive. He's referencing the um, he's
The public.
referencing the black and white cover, which is obviously it looks like a legendary, but it's it's the original cover sketch, and then yeah, with the caveat of. But guys, in my opinion, obviously this is um a beta. It's supposed to evolve, and Andrew Ward did say this. It's gonna be it's gonna be only the start. It's the beginning of something. It's not gonna be the end of some of this.
Yeah,
Uh,
and if I can say, I don't think they could have released anything that would have made people happy. Like there's
yeah,
nothing that Overdrive could have been, that would have lived up to the expectations or hype. I mean, I have yet to hear like a really compelling theory for what it could have been that would have made everybody happy. It's just impossible.
and like I said, like I had a plan going into this interview, but like I said, my mind is currently
Of course.
blown. So and it was really funny. Like, oh, you guys are gonna have a lot to talk about. And this will, I mean, okay, let's do this. Let's just talk about this, right? Um, it's not a bad start. Like, with with this article, for example, right? It goes, get ready to mix, match, and um ignite your way into exclusive collectibles in an immersive crafting experience where ordinary becomes extraordinary. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Back counts will need the following. So, any of the discs, one of the discs, obviously the drop that's going to happen, and then the sell, which will be, it's going to be a snapshot. Is it the day before? And it's going to be one per cow. So, there's a time, guys, to go get a cow if you haven't got a cow yet. At candy.com/DC. Okay. And then effectively, right? Also, it's gonna run for a week. So it's gonna run for a week for backhouse holders only, and then it's gonna run afterwards for everyone else. It looks like for another week.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, by participating, one backhouse exclusive legendary Justice League. Okay. Oh, okay. So right. So there will still be a legendary variant of no, there will be a separate legendary variant for the public. It looks like.
Right.
Right. Both will have random. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, hey, I'll throw a fun question for you. So I'll put this up here. How many do you think is gonna mint for the back house for the legendary?
Anything I say would just be a guess. I have no clue how many active
That's not fair. Let me go first.
cows there
I'll
are.
go first, so I could be wrong first. But I mean, this is like how many people hold a fandom? There's probably a lot of people with the overdrive, but truly, we've seen we've seen a lot of people mint. I think it depends on who, how many voted recently, like how many minted a badge. I mean, there's been quite a bit. Let me just turn off Discord quickly. It's making noise. Um, I mean, we could see over 2,000, 1,000 guys. What do you think over chat? Um, okay, got a prediction here. 5% of 10K. What, 500? Am I right? Yeah, 500. I guess you're gonna have to mint the drop. It might be more, you know. I think with backhouse. I mean, if we look at the mint out of stuff, this 2,000 packs has been minted for Batman Beyond, right? Not all of it are for backhouse, so it could be about 1,000, 1,500 of those legendaries, um, maximum, I would imagine, on the cap.
Yeah, we need to do some math here, right? And if the average mint out for packs appears to be from the high thousands to the low 2000s, right? Assuming every single person crafts, you're seeing the same distribution for the public overdrive, and then the private overdrive would be about the same, theoretically.
Yeah, and if everybody has a fandom, everybody, yeah. So in theory, we'll see between 500 to 1,000. I'd imagine. Well, my personal take of the which it's not as scarce as obviously I want it, but
A public drop, yeah.
yeah. What would be cool is if you can have your back out at the back. I mean, again, I'm just voicing it out, like personalize it a little bit. I don't know, maybe in like page two or heck something, man. I really am into branding the cowl into our comics. Something, you know. I know you don't want to touch this comic at all though, because this is your comic. But
I wouldn't mind. It's just, I mean, yeah, it would be a nice little touch. Yeah, I would agree. It's just, I don't know how feasible that is for them to process and maintain all those copies of individual image files.
mm,
Not to mention, what happens if you sell the cowl that was in your comic? Does it stay? Does it go?
oh, I'd say it stays, but you can engage in unlimited crafting sessions provided you have enough resources. Guys, what do you think about this? There's no cap. Okay, so basically, I have, like, I have a lot of cows, so I can, in theory, do 15 of these, which means I have 15 attempts at a good edition number. Um, craft to your heart's content. Okay. Let me one unit snapshot. So there's a snapshot a day before the exclusive crafting experience. And then the backhaul overdrives that cannot be used during the public overdrive event. You may choose to keep your overdrive cells if you don't wish to participate in this experience. It'd be interesting to see if even the I would imagine it'll be serialized, it would be editionized, but you can't do anything with it, or could you? I mean, again, like I said, would we are we able to reuse these cells if we don't use it, or are we going to get different types of cells coming up? Because I think what I really like about this is the cow being tied into it, and obviously mixing it a bit with DC3. There's nothing so new here for the beta. It's just some things that we have already that's being remixed, into a. So I will do a okay. Um, yeah. Dash 3D will not craft according to Mike. And then minus the restricted accounts, and it's like, yeah, save it for the future reward. I'm gonna say, um, yeah. Any thoughts, man? I've been talking, but any thoughts? Um,
Couple things came to mind. I think, yeah, that last line about you can save your back cow cell really annoys me, because that just leads to uncertainty over whether it can be used again in the future for something that you would miss out on, or if they're going to supply more back cow exclusive cells. Like, I really wish it would just come out and say you will be able to use this again in the future, and but if you choose to use it now, you'll have opportunities somehow, maybe paid or not, to get more of these back house cells in the future. I think that would help ease a lot of people's minds over saving or using. If no, you don't care about Justice League, you might want to save it, right? But if you know this is your only chance in ever to use it for something meaningful, then you would probably just use it, right? So I really wish it would clarify that point, and maybe they will before the
do you
information.
know? You're not the only person to say that. Funny enough, people want certainty with these things. Yeah, I hope they issue out something like, instead of leaving it open ended. But at the same time, I don't like. I'll probably, I don't have a plan yet, to be honest. I will definitely craft one or two or probably four. I have a lot of these comments. This is the common tier, right? So, and it broke the site as well, right? Like apparently the site broke, and they're looking into the issue to the issues. But what do you? I mean, do you have? I know you're not ready with this, but do you have any kind of like like what are your thoughts on overdrive for yourself? Like, what do you think it can be? What do you want to see? Because right now, right, like the feedback from some people is it's just the merge and burn. You know, they expected like to be able to put anything on the site, and be able to get something like a 3D collectible, for example, right? But again, sorry, the question's with you. Like, what do you want to see usually? Like, what are your dreams for Overdrive?
I think being able to pick and choose like your customizable events is probably the best bet for like a DC level collection like this. I mean, Justice League is a good example, right? Again, if you care about this comic, you can use up these resources. If not, save for something you do like. I don't particularly think they're going to be very scarce compared to other collections. So if someone's looking at this just from a purely, I want to make a profit or have one of the rarest comics in the site type of thing, this is obviously not going to be the event for them. But it's possible that something could appear like that in the future. So I think it's just about what you like to collect at the end of the day. Um, they had to do something with Overdrive, right? I mean, it was it more than 2, 3 years ago already. Who knows the original people who even thought it up or even with the company anymore? They had to do something. This is a pretty decent, simple idea. It involves the discs. It involves DC3s. Cowls get a benefit. I think it checks all the boxes people were looking for. But again, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think people were going to be happy no matter what. I think
Mhm.
I think having 3D collectibles, yeah, having special signatures added, having the serialization thing is interesting. Like if you collected 1 through 6 of Suicide Squad versus Justice League, maybe you get like a collected edition instead. But I mean, it's nice simple things, right? Um, I'm sure the Candy Palm Warner team has been thinking about this far more than we have. I'm sure whatever idea they come up with is going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally excited about. So Andrew did roll up in Spaces, and I didn't manage to record it, like the first part of what he was saying. He mentioned about being, but he said this on multiple occasions, like you know, using the traits from the cows, and building because 3D assets are, they take time, like and probably money to do, like 3D artists and stuff. So I'd imagine I would, people want Batmobiles, people want bat suits, they want, ultimately they want, if you could create all these things from your bat cow, create like an entire collection, sub collection from your cow. And yes, what is the ultimate speculation? The ultimate dream is to go into metaverses with it. If it, like, we have to temper that, but ultimately, like, that's what you want. You want to be able to build your own legacy, right? With, and be part of the DC canon, like, because we've done multiverse events. Jim Lee has come on. People from DC are building these experiences for us. So it's like it can't be the only trouble is obviously the time it's taken to do so, right? I think that's the problem. The problem has been the delivery of it hasn't slowed, and even the user base is slowed, right? And like and we're out here with the OGs, we're waiting for it every day, we're talking about it every day, and I think that's the problem as well. It's like we got time in our hands, but I can't imagine the politics involved in building out these things, and what they're going to give us on top of the Web3 technology stuff that we need, the keys. And but this is it, the overdrive
That's
is coming, right? But I mean, keys has, it's been a topic forever, and yeah, I mean, it's true, it's like true ownership. That's really what you come into with these. That's what separates this from a CS:GO skin, or a, like, which is doing fine, by the way, but $1 million, like $1 billion industry. But ultimately, in my opinion, that's what it is for me. It's like not just for the cow, but like, let's talk like comics. Like, crafting exclusive comics is pretty exciting for it, like, especially if you like this comic, right?
Mhm.
Like, if this variant is only that you can get online, and think about it, we could put, like, again, I'm spitballing here, but we've got infinite objects coming. Like, what if you have the option to do print that and order it, and then what, only 1,000 physical comic books will, like, come on, like, think like that. You have to think like that. And I'm not even sure, is this variant online only? Have you seen it before? Do you know? I know.
I don't know. I feel like I have seen it, the sketch, but I can't say for certain.
Okay, so if this was an exclusive, and again, these are things that they could do. Um, anyone in chat, if you know, is this an exclusive variant? Okay, let's go. I want to see DC merch, comics, and toys unlocked or discounted with cows instead of just rare comics. Yeah, man, I want to see that too. And I thought this was my cunt, but it's not. So welcome, Max. Yeah, the fire emoji for overdrive. Um, awesome. We can move on. Again, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, yeah, actually, you touched upon a good point mentioning the cows and the trades because, yeah, my line of thinking initially was just straight to DC3s, but I think it does open up a lot of possibilities for the creation of other objects. And like if Overdrive initially was like, oh yeah, you can craft your own unique. You mentioned Batmobile match to your cowl. I think some of the complaints I saw online were, "Oh, I gotta buy a new comic to take part in Overdrive," and like yeah, like you mentioned, these things cost money on the team side, on Warner side, licensing, development hours to design these things, hire designers. Like they were never just gonna give away this stuff for
No.
free and be like, hey, Overdrive, there we go, to 11,544 more unique personalized objects. And so I think gauging gauging interest and building the community is what this beta is for, right? Comics are probably the easiest to market to the already existing DC comic fans, right? So they're probably going to start with this, and then as they gain an audience, they might be able to be like, hey, maybe in the future, let's release a new Batmobile collection that's going to be Overdrive compliant. That will then lead to physical printed toys of the Batmobile, but that takes a lot of planning, and unless they
Yeah.
have guaranteed like returns for that kind of stuff, they're not going to get to that spot until they kind of continue to grow their base. So I
But
mean, I would love to see all that.
yeah, I mean, we already had the hint of the physical cow. Now we haven't had clarification as to, is it going to just be a black, or one of the standard
Mm,
template cows, or is it going to be the personalized cows, which you're probably going to have to order anyway. It's going to cost
yeah,
money. But at the same time, even the sub collections would take money, like through the 3D. So I don't mind throwing money. I don't mind minting these things. I don't mind putting $10 to mint one, like, per cow. Like, honestly, I would give them my money. But I think, as a comic collector as yourself, if you can print out, if this is an exclusive comic and you can print out, think about it, it will be tied, and heck, edition number it, the same edition number as your, the one on site that you have, like, match that. And then what do you have? You have an exclusive physical that will, because he keeps talking about that, like the crossover. You print
yeah,
that using infinite objects, or whoever it's going to print the comic for you. Yes, it could just be like a framed one,
sure.
but what if is you can actually like, order an exclusive comic book through the site. And I think those are coming, guys. Like, I think let's not think small. Like, there's things like the interactive reader, for example, right? The interactive reader, I mean, they're talking about, and I'm just gonna put this here, right?
Good.
So the interactive reader, right? They talked about how, let's think outside of ourselves. Like, I'll be quite honest with you. It'd be rare for me to, like, if it's, unless it's Legacy Cow. I mean, you could go, DC3, DC Infinite, or you could and I'm not recommending to do this, you could just Google the comic and you'll be able to just read it there too. Like, right? But we're here really for the ownership of this comic in our wallets and to be able to do something different. And I think this is the differentiation period, like point of the interactive reader. The interactive reader is where you can like choose your own adventure. You could, heck, you can do more things with it than just read the PDF or the scanned file, right? And obviously, yes, we get uncommon burns, and we
Sure.
get different, we get different flavors already, like of the comic. We get different covers and stuff. Yes, fine. But to me, I think this is gonna be, and again, DC's leading the charge. Like truly crazy. I mean, do you feel the same way? I mean, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so I think it does open up a great avenue for. I mean, of course, we're talking about DC, so DC fans here. So I think they did a great job with the Legacy Cowl and the surrounding, challenges that led us to being able to get these achievement badges. So I think going down individual, combining the concept of serialization with reader interactivity could lead to more of these, challenges, and then people get rewarded with badges, and then that leads to gaining maybe certain collectibles. So, you don't need to be an NFT collector to want to take part in a lot of this stuff, right? I mean, other than the initial kind of back cowl purchase, you could have gone through this entire thing without ever purchasing a DC3 and be a Legend of Gotham City, right? So some people like that aspect of it. And so I think it does open up the avenue for more people to onboard to the platform, and the reader is going to be key to that.
Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that. Right. So, I mean, let's just spitball here because we're definitely cooking now, in my opinion. So let's think about that. Like, what if on DC Infinite, where people are reading this digitally, will be like, click here to experience the interactive reader. Takes them to kenny.com/DC. They get a free comic on sign up, like unlimited mints, right, of a comic, right? Could be a variant of Legacy Cow for all I care, right? Legacy Cow, like new user variant, whatever, right? Onboard them to the comic book, get them to experience it, get them to own it, heck, right? Um, Obviously, maybe they need to KYC first before they get mint, right? Because obviously, otherwise, we'll have supply issues. But I mean, what are your thoughts on onboarding? Like,
Ooh, that's tough, and I do recall in one of your last interviews, right? I think Mr. Ward did mention there was like more marketing budget coming sometime this year. So I mean, I would love to see the avenues they takes, because one, I'm assuming they don't want to cannibalize other avenues of revenue, like converting DC Infinite or physical readers to NFT. They want to have it both at the same time. Maybe there's some agreements in place that said no, you can't advertise other things on our platform. Maybe that's a thing. Um, I just think maybe highlighting those interactive and collectible components. The back channel benefits have been amazing, so far. And I think I mentioned on Discord a while back to like one of my best memories is of attending like the Flash premiere with my wife, like early, completely free, got a nice pictures, posters. It's like, okay, like this is something that DC fans would love. So having some more either experiences or exclusive items given out to fans is how you get them to onboard to the platform. Because if you just stick with, hey, you can own one of 3,000 copies of Superman 1 on the blockchain, a lot of comic fans would be like, why would I want to do that? I can buy a facsimile for $10 and have a physical copy I can read and carry with me everywhere. It has to go beyond the Web3 element that I think most people just aren't interested in now. And it's going to change in the future, like it will. But to get there, you got to cater to the brand and experiences and exclusivity as opposed to the back end technical component, I think. How you do that, I'm not a marketing guy. I don't know. I don't know. So,
no, that's
but I'm sure they're working on it.
what it was funny because I was looking at my analytics for the channel, and I mean, I have to think about it. Like, how are people consuming? And this is, I guess, the question for DC anyway. How are they? Who are they targeting? Because it looks like an older generation, like over 30. And like, what is? Do they need to look back and say, all right, who's again, this is a shared DC problem with the movies, right? And the thing is, 24 is quiet for DC movies, right? So I don't expect any. Although the roadmap looks insane, like the candyupdates.com, it springboards us, in my opinion, to a good place in 25, where okay, like the movies are coming for both Marvel and DC, and the platform's ready. It's gonna sing like, but a little bit more patience, another year. That's the thing, right? And we know it's not gonna go anywhere. That the platform's not gonna go anywhere. So yes, if you're watching this, hell yes, you're early. But at the same time, it's like I wonder what the age range they kind of target, and are they gonna do different things? Because I remember like, so I've heard mentions of like the marketing being over at, heck, did they go TikTok and then obviously the Snapchat lens, which I would say like, if they're expecting like 200,000 people wearing it, that's not what's happening. You know what I mean? But at the same time, maybe in the metaverse it would. But then again, that even that word is like, well, $3,500 for an Apple Vision Pro. But then there's the and there's wars, right? Wars for the Meta Quest. There's different blockchains. Palm's gonna launch its own token. All that stuff, right? And then the average user just doesn't want to get rugged in X, right? He doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the concern. Like, are we actually ready for that? Or as you said, like, do we build them out in candy.com/DC?
You know, you
Man,
just reminded me of an idea somebody posted, maybe multiple people posted in the suggestions, and I want to say it was maybe Ryan Stafford who pointed it out a while ago.
shout
The
out.
ability to, of course, to like build your own personalized comic wall, like click and drag your collections in order, customize the background, export that, and then people can use it in Zoom meetings or work meetings, and that's free advertising, right? Should be a relatively simple tool. I think that'd be a good idea. People, hey, how'd you get that background? Hey, I see an animated Jim Lee signature comic over there. That looks pretty cool. Where's that come from? I mean, I would love to see that as a feature. If anybody from Candy is listening, I think it'd go great for people bonding with the collections. It would go great for free advertisement. It would go great for a lot of it. So, um, yeah, for sure.
Amazing. Should we get into the site, DC3.Wiki? Let's do it. Let's do a bit of a, yeah. Let's do a bit of that. So I actually am logged in as a patron, so you'll get a different experience, right, with the patron and not, because obviously there's running costs for your time, and obviously getting all this together, the development work. I mean, roughly how many hours have you spent developing this, Ryan, man? Like, you are yeah.
That's a great question, and I am hesitant to give an accurate daily answer because if anyone from my work sees this and I'm spending work time doing no, I usually spend my lunch hour. Uh, this is my lunch hour doing this talk, and I usually do things
Awesome,
before after hours.
awesome.
I would say drop days obviously are pretty intensive. I just have to like carefully watch and just make sure things are scaling and loading correctly. But I've done enough upfront development work where a lot of it is just kind of automated. So I just say, hey, this is the contract address. Maybe I point it to a couple things here or there, and it does it. But I would say on a weekly basis, I probably spend 10 to 11, 12 hours a week on wiki work. And that's like maybe just like in 30 minutes an hour chunks, but it does add up.
So let's go through that, and we appreciate your work. Let's go through this site then. So what do we have so far? So since the migration, obviously you've had to repoint everything, right? We've been talking about this, like we've been in DMs. So obviously that's the latest collection, which is Teen Titans 12, which you can see all the release info, guys, the pack data, left for sale, not minted, and yeah, everything really, everything, and right as an exclusive, you get to see the edition fold, right? For
That
oh
was a lot of
yeah,
hours.
I talk to me about this feature quickly. The edition
So,
fold.
so the single pane page you're looking at there, I mean, it started with just like the top half was like all the wiki was when it first launched. It was just, hey, how can we know how many of things have been pulled of each rarity in total, how close are we to the sale end, and it was more important, in the beginning when the collections would kind of actually sell out on drop days. Things have slowed down a little bit since then, so maybe it's not super important anymore. But I love to make that information available just for people to have available. That enhanced feature you're seeing down there took a lot of work to map all this stuff. I don't want to get into the details of how it all works in the back end, but it does require constant scanning of blockchain transactions essentially to keep this up to date. And so I've kind of put this in words and posts and stuff before, but how I make the difference between like a paid Patreon feature and like a free public feature is just how much it costs me to maintain essentially. And so this continuous running process to render all this just costs a lot of processing power. And so, and if I made it available for everyone, and then suddenly you get a huge uptick in users, and then like, the site crashes, and suddenly I'm looking at a multi-$1,000 bill, I kind of protect myself from that by gating it behind Patreon, so I can get a steady flow. And even if we do suddenly, become famous and everybody wants a DC NFT, the cost will scale appropriately to usage. And so that's like that page you're looking at right there.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome, man. You've done a great job, and like I always go here, and oh, view all Patreon benefits. And guys, of course, if you aren't already, I use, I've signed up from since day one, and I've been nagging him for stuff like buying him a coffee to and obviously with the suggestions, but oh, you get a quick edition viewer. Oh, lovely. So you don't have to troll through it. You can see what's out there. Oh, that's amazing.
It's one of the latest features.
Oh, wow. Um, okay, so that's so an edition filter and a quick edition. Edition reveal. And yes, of course, as well, you get access to the DC3 Wiki, which I will share as well.
The Discord, you mean, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just quickly gonna do that. Yeah. So there we go. So we get you get also a specialized channel if you're a Patreon and you link your Patreon to your Discord. Um, and some people are picking the chain for stuff, and then you get interesting wallets to because everything is transparent now, right? And you get a hit list here, courtesy of Ryan Stafford. um, you get a hit list of people that you're watching, that are buying stuff. That's interesting. It makes this is why I said, in my opinion, like Candy is so transparent, and they might as well build out a social media inside it, man. Being able to do offers, obviously being able to turn it off as well. But if they did like something like that, that would really accelerate the market, in my opinion. Even just with our user base, we get buying and selling channel, and then we get additional reveals as well, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's just
Uh,
some MLB testing up there by accident. I sent to the channel,
that's okay.
but yeah, for the most part, it's TC stuff.
Yeah, man. Again, I'm loving it, and obviously we get some buffs like Matthews, Tangma, and all the other guys, and Ryan Stafford, of course. Um, but yeah, you get the top brains in the industry, and of course, just to plug my Discord as well, I do that too. So yeah, if you aren't yet, go and join both Discords, guys. And yeah, and definitely sign up for the Patreon. In my opinion, like really cool. Let's talk about like the stuff that everyone can access. I think there is a thing for scarce collectibles as well, right?
There
Um,
is. Yeah.
yeah, let's have a look at that. But these like I mean things are scarce as hell anyway, and they made the return, right? But they're scarce as hell anyway. Oh, by the way, guys, sorry, just before we do that, for the edition stuff, it's jumping around. You can actually go to the collectible itself. So let's say you wanted to find out who's legendary, like who the heck has the legendary number one. You can. Like literally, it takes you to that edition and see if it's for sale. Now I know the edition one's been pulled, but it's not actually sold, has it? At all? Yeah, the guy that pulled it hasn't sold it. So I'm pretty sure people are wondering where the heck it is. That's why there's no sale. Um, but that's pretty cool, in my opinion. So easy to use, man. Flowers to you. But yeah, let's talk about the scarce collection. I mean, things are scarce as hell anyway, right? In in DC3, right? I there.
Yeah, yeah, and so scarce. Again, most of the stuff that I implement is just conversations that I see in the Discord, people having, and it's like, hey, people are hunting down this information by clicking through everything. Let me make life easier for people. It'll increase engagement to the platform, and it'll increase, transactions on those top collections that people think scarcity is a big thing. So it's one of those things that's, yeah, I'll go ahead and put this up there and make that public. And so I'm always looking for ways to enhance the DC NFT experience. And so I
This
do what
looks
I
like
can.
the newest drops, right? Is this can't be everything, right?
No, so yeah,
Any
yeah. So
migration.
the big disclaimer for the entire wiki right now is that they have not reminted all the pre-migration collections to their new contracts in the blockchain, and without that, I can't um, draw that information from the blockchain. So it's only
Yeah,
accounting for stuff that actually exists in its complete form. And as you can see, we do have like the snapshot for what it was before the migration as well for comparison.
yeah, awesome. Wow, everything's here, guys. Amazing, just an amazing site. I don't know where. Do you want to comment on anything that I've missed?
No, just again, if anyone has any idea for things they'd like to see, that's what I'm here for. And I dream of a day where the official platform evolves so much that there's no longer a need for the wiki. Like if they provide all this single pane of glass functionality, viewing, comparisons, and I can dust my hands off and say I'm glad I was able to help out the community in the meantime.
Oh man, and again, like I said, I mean, third-party tools are always good to. It's especially it's like they can see what people want. You only do what people want, right? And the community wants. So it is amazing. Shall we talk about Candy itself then, the site? I think um well, is there any kind of like let's just kind of finish off here. Is there anything that you can comment on that you'd like to see on site as well? I know that might be a
Everything the wiki provides, really. But beyond that, the sale data was a great existing functionality Candy already had as compared to Palm. I was tracking sale data for a little bit. That was like a Patreon exclusive as well. Not a lot of people use it though. Even like a subset of my patrons actually bothered to go check like the historical price graphs and all that. So I'm not sure how much the community really wants enhanced features like that. But personally, I would love a visual representation of price over time, as opposed to just like the stagnant 30-day averages you see there. I think it's going to become more and more important because we're going to start seeing these exclusive crafting opportunities and set collection rewards. So, for example,
yes.
Justice League versus Suicide Squad. If they do something similar in the future, you could just look back and be okay. Let me check the prices of these individual collections and packs at this point in time in its life cycle as compared to this newer collection, and then you can make a more informed decision, right? Um, that may be going a little further into the whole analytical, treating this as a financial platform, which I'm assuming Candy wants to avoid. But I know people would be really interested in that.
Yeah, I think we just love to geek out. What do you have any thoughts on like you should mention that? Um, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I love the fact that they gave it a week for people to scoop it up at a low price.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure that that's not what they intended to do, but the rewarders got collected. Like
Mm-hmm.
people like Matt choose like set collectors. I think is important.
Mm-hmm.
Because he made a point, right? It only takes 100 to 150 people, maybe everybody that watches this stream. If everybody that watches this stream actually decided to just collect the set of everything, right? It's gonna be fucking insane, right? Like, think
Mm-hmm.
about it. Like that's gonna make oh no, because of overdrive, the site is dead, right?
No, it's pretty slow.
And and the thing is, Candy's been so unassailable all this time.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Okay,
surprised it's still losing
okay,
issues.
let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. I mean, what's your strategy here? Did you pick one up? Did you pick it up before? What was the yeah?
I did not complete the set before. I got the legendary on my pack opening, so I was going to hold out and see, which was not a wise decision because then the price of the epic shot up. It is going back down now. Um, I'm just going to keep waiting. Let's gamble. Wait right before the snapshot and see what the prices are. But yeah, the question is, and I'm curious for those who bought the legendary to complete the set, is it because you really like Justice League or Suicide Squad and you want to keep the six, or you're expecting the price of six to exceed the 100 plus you paid? This is the first of its kind, right? Outside of like the posters, so I'm kind of curious how that's going to
Right.
settle down. I just want to see how it goes, what the reaction is really.
Man, like I was thinking about this. I was like, I managed to scoop it for 55. So got the email, it popped up on my phone. I'm like, okay, gonna break the news first, like I always do.
Right.
Haha. Or I try. But I'm like, hang on a second. I need to take care of myself, right? Right. I looked, it was still the last 55 and it was a jump to 75. I'm like, fucking scooping that. So I got it. And then what happened? It ran up. But you have to think of in my opinion, like how my brain operates, is like the reward to risk ratio, right? You're gonna get $120 now, 129, 125. Now I could sell that for a $60 profit, right? But what would that get me? I'll get a six comic book that completes the set, first of its kind. I get two, like, because I've managed to pull one as well. So I've completed my set almost instantly. When I got it, I got it. Like, I don't know if they're gonna reward like the fastest completion, because guess what? HRO
I
fucking
know.
does. HRO fucking does. They do it, right? Um, so I'm betting on all like I'm a betting man, like So anyway, obviously that's just too insane. But what I'm saying is like it looks like I'm gonna complete two sets. Why? Because I get two chances for the edition of the new comic book. Now it's not gonna be random, or it's not gonna be the first to complete. Who knows? But at the same time, I don't know. That's what's gonna happen. Two chances of this number six. Now, if the number six, what's the price gonna be? Well, if it's looking like maximum 160 to let's say 200, right? But how many really is going to be completed? Maybe 150, right? Obviously, it's not going to be as insane as the first one, which is that beautiful poster that sold. Actually, it has a confirmed sale for 500.
So fast.
Um, yeah, but 350 now. Obviously, it's not going to be like that. What? And I'm like, oh, what if everything tanks? Everyone's going to panic sell. You know what's going to happen? Everyone's going to panic sell after the snapshot. Um, but actually it's still a set. The original is still a set. The the thing is, well, the new one, will it be number six? So it's gonna have it's fun, right? Like it's like they rewarded the people who did complete the set, and then they put an option for people to actually start making money, in my opinion, right? Not what they did on purpose, but we're looking for floor prices. We're looking for action in the market. No one is here to lose money. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this out here, and I know this is not and this is just Preds talking. This is not you. You're not like with
Sure.
this comment, but I'm just saying like no one is out here to watch a platform tank in value, right? And we have to start thinking about and talking about this is if you're clever enough, and what I'm trying to say here, guys, is the edge is in the information, and the information is being given to you in droves. DC3 Wiki, DC NFT feed, Discord. Your strategy is your strategy, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to arm yourself with information to be able to make these plays and position your collection at the end of the day, right? I've been thinking about it, and the safest thing is the sets, guys. Like sets means that, and because what are your thoughts on? By the way, I don't know if you do VV and stuff, but what are your thoughts on points and leaderboards and set rewards and stuff like that? Let me just maybe do that quickly before we go. But
Oh, I
and
would
by the
love.
way, I invite you back if you have to go run. But Could you run over maybe 10 minutes? I feel like this is
I
juicy as hell.
can let me double check my schedule unless I got something else last minute. I can go over by 10 minutes, but then I do got to prep for another meeting, so
Okay, all right.
totally
Right. So
fine.
let's run over by 10 minutes. But just as a point, what are your thoughts on like set completion, leaderboards, and let's say MCP points? Let's do that. Let's just add a little, and then let's add a hero exclusive, fastest to complete as well. Um, let's just add that all the different flavors that we're seeing right now. That's been relatively successful, right? But go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of experience in other NFT platforms, but I would say that some sort of, whether it's a leaderboard or just some sort of point or tier system, depending on different factors like how many maybe challenges you participated in, how many sets completed, speed to fastest complete, sure, add that in there. Having some sort of tiered system and rewards based off of that is honestly a great idea, and that's another chance for them to insert physical rewards into it. So the only other kind of platform that I am technically a part of is Starbucks Odyssey. And I don't
Hmm.
remember why I joined it. I just, it was like a random email. And I was like, okay, I guess I go to Starbucks. And it was after this project, obviously, because I was like, okay, let me, dip my toes and see what else offers because I might get some ideas for the wiki, right? And so I think they have a very, very fantastic reward system, with their collections and points where like it resets every quarter or year, something like that. And depending on how many points you collected based on collections, you get like physical rewards and experiences. I mean, how amazing would it be, if the top 10 point people on DC got a chance to fly out to Warner Brothers HQ and tour or something, like, and it would incentivize interactivity. It shouldn't just be like a whale thing, like whoever spent the most money, if you're a legend of Gotham City, which means you participated, if you got, trivia points correctly, I think they have some work to do to standardize a lot of these offerings to make sure people's schedules can accommodate them because, being at a certain place at a certain time is rough for a lot of people. But I really hope they do implement something like that to test loyalty, engagement, interactivity, and then reward those people because again, that's another free chance for them to advertise the platform. Hey, where'd you get that exclusive signed poster from? Well, hey, I got lucky on this, DC NFT, collection thing, and that's where it came from. Exclusive merchandise, T-shirts, things like that. It's overall, I think, a really great way to encourage people to engage with the platform. I personally don't collect every single set. I,
No.
I don't even initially mint after the uncommons and stuff started going under mint price. I was like, I'll just pick up the covers I like.
Hmm.
I am mainly a Superman fan, so I've completed all the Superman related sets just in case, right? You never know.
That's it. You complete the sets that you love, basically.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I mean that's what I mean I couldn't do everything, honestly. I'm the same.
Hmm.
I actually did all the cheap ones. But no, that's a great point. And
But yeah, it should be taking a lot of things into consideration. So um, the safe way is to collect everything. Of course, you never be missed out on anything. But
yeah, but yeah, I mean collect what you like, obviously. Man, yeah, again, we've got 10 minutes, man, or 8 minutes, but is there anything else that you wanna like talk I don't think we've talked enough about yourself and how you feel about, man, like I open the floor to you, honestly, for 8 minutes, man. Tell me anything.
no, I just think I don't get a chance to talk about this project or platform like out loud like this ever with anybody. Like my
Yeah.
wife has some vague idea that I run a website
Oh,
I have to work on late nights sometimes, and
my other half is like, oh, you get, please don't tell me you're gonna talk about this again. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not, but
and most of my close friends are of the NFTs or a scam type people, so like I'm not gonna like mention a lot about this to them. So it's I would love to regularly talk about this stuff out loud, get my thoughts out there.
bro, you're more than welcome to come, like, honestly, anytime you like, with me, like, honestly, it'll be great to have
Yeah,
you. um
and it's not necessarily like I think my opinions are like meaningless, like but just like discussing the state of things and like enhancements and in the hopes that Candy hears it. I would love to be able to get more of a chance to do that since
yeah, man, like I
I
said,
want to provide value.
yeah, same. And this is the thing, I don't even mind doing one, like, because I know do one a week. Actually, that's even a lot for me these days, but yeah, I don't mind like doing two. maybe a drop vid, and then, like I said, like an analysis. Bro, I and definitely would love to have Ryan Stafford and Matthews on, like from your Discord, and maybe join them as well. Um, no, no, seriously. What I'm trying to do is get the Justice League, the multiverse Justice League of everybody that's so fucking cool in this community, and just be like, right, just hang with me whenever you feel like you got something to say, or just a regular chill, man. I'm so happy
For
to be,
sure, yeah.
you know,
I
um,
mean, we seem to be settling in the every 2 week drop, which might be a sustainable, hey, half-hour call. How did the drop went? Let's take a look at the data. How many people bought? Prices at the time. We could probably do something like that. I could set aside some time,
yeah, no, that'd be fucking
or a
awesome.
monthly roundup. Because as news comes
Yeah.
out, we might be waiting a while, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's go. No, absolutely. Let's do that. And because the other thing as well is there is the drop videos, but there's the analysis as well, right? There's the like the data is good as well, like, and that's with the running costs and whatever, like, and you provide that, like, everything that's obviously missing, or at least the fun stuff, right? That the team has its priorities. But there's also the stuff where, okay, let's look back and say, or why did it do this and why did it do that? And sometimes there's so much information out there that you kind of forget to look back, right? You do, because you go into the next hype, and then you go, okay, but what are the lessons learned here? And I'm sure we do that all the time, but this is the productive way of going about things, in my opinion, as well. And it's such a
It
great
is.
format. So
Yeah, I mean, you could have an entire session analyzing the multiverse drops and comparing those available supply numbers to overdrive supply numbers, since it's almost essentially the same thing. You need X to get Y, and depending on availability of X, you have Z amount of Y. And so that might be interesting to do with somebody who's a little more statistically minded. But
hmm,
yeah, we have the information out there. And it will be and those are exclusive covers as well, so it kind of matches the whole um, output of these set collections. So that could be an
hey,
avenue to look.
you're more than happy to jump on with me with someone, and I'll facilitate that. And I'll just be here nodding. Honestly, like, I'm more than happy. And like, yeah, we need an analysis team for sure. And then this is a team. You're part. We're
Right.
part of the team, bro. Like, we're part of the Justice League. Like I said, this is the Justice League in real life. You know what I mean? You might not realize it, but we are. Um,
That's the dream.
we are the Justice League. Okay, let's have a look. Um, if you believe in it stay, there's no point in saying mula. President. Okay.
I
Any
agree.
and until existe the valid certificate. Next. Again, like I said, it's the perception of NFTs, as you mentioned
Yeah,
before.
it's
Uh,
yeah. The technology is not evil. It's what people have done with it that gives it a bad name. That's very unfortunate. Like an owned digital asset. That's not a new thing, but it's really cool. You can the things you can do with it now that everything is internet connected. So I'm excited to see where things go.
no, for sure. And like I said, everybody's welcome to the channel. Obviously, and we're gonna have a great time, man. This is an era of. And the funny thing is as well, and I was talking about this with someone for DMs, was just Web3 in general. If you think about it, it's like this is uncharted territory, my friend. Like, we are giving analysis as things come out, like, of a mechanic that would have never been possible in the real world, and as a DC fan to experience. Usually, you go buy a comic book, you attend events, you go watch the movie, you buy exclusive variants, you buy a signed variant. Oh, that's it. But no, here you get to rub shoulders with the creators, right? You get to rub shoulders with the community members, which is such a perk, right? Like, and to me, that is actually everything. Like, and I'm sorry for, like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I opened the comic book, especially if it's an exclusive story, But otherwise, the chase for me is the whole experience. Like, um, fuck, honestly, mate, like, thank you so much for coming on. Again, like I said, is there anything else you wanna? I know you have to shoot. You look like you have to go, but
I got 1 minute. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I'll just leave it as like the part about the community is probably the most important. You know, through the good and the bad, Pong, Candy, you know, amazing moments, hype, disappointment. I think the chatter and all the different channels is always fun. So, if there's one thing I can leave for an ask for the Candy team is some sort of in person meetup. Plan, like there was that Comic Con thing with Jim Lee. Announce things ahead of time, get the group together. We can shake hands, read comic books, play games, watch DC movies together. Like plan it out ahead of time. Even if people have to like provide their own travel, like the promise of exclusive events, signings, photo ops, people would go to that. So hopefully that's something in their budget that they're looking at. So it would be great to meet all the people we chat with in person.
wow, first appearance of GM Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. It's been amazing. Like I told you, didn't that hour fly? It flew, right? And there's not even enough time. Yeah, like I said, you will be back. And we will be back. Guys, I shall see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me.
See ya. Take care.
See ya. Take care.